Hi, I'm Michael Killen. In the United States, we are always interested in having the people have a direct input on the laws and the governing of our country. In November, 26 states will have initiatives generated by the people of the state presented for voters to vote on. And in Maine and Washington, they're going to vote on an initiative to remove rights from gay people. And I wonder if that is something that Jesus would approve of. And in Ohio, they're going to vote on whether or not 4 cities can build casinos so people can gamble, and so the states and cities can acquire more taxes. In California, there is an initiative called number 23, the Jobs Initiative ballot. And I have invited an expert that studies initiatives and other developments in the state of California to discuss Proposition 23. And she is Susan Frank, Executive Director of the Better World Group. How are you?
I'm well, Michael. Thank you.
That was a long introduction, wasn't it?
It was, but it was great.
Okay. Now, you've taken a look at this initiative, number 23.
Right.
And it has a title.
Well, the proponents, the supporters of it, are calling themselves the California Jobs Initiative. I'm working on the campaign to kill that ballot measure, the No campaign, and we call it the Dirty Energy Proposition. So that's our name for it.
Why would you want to kill a job-promoting bill?
Well, the proponents of the measure have, in a very savvy way, I suppose, called themselves the California Jobs Initiative. But it's not about creating jobs. In fact, it's about killing jobs. It's about killing the part of the California economy that's actually growing, which is green jobs and the clean tech community. So they're putting it out there as if it's somehow positive for jobs. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It kills jobs, and it's going to kill competition. That's what it's really about.
How do you arrive at that conclusion?
Yeah.
That the title of this bill is malicious,
right?
Designed to mislead the public, and that it will, if elected into law, will decrease jobs in California. How do you arrive at that?
Well, first thing that's important to note is that the actual title of the ballot measure that's going to be on the ballot will talk about how it suspends air pollution laws. So whenever you have a ballot measure, you always have campaigns on both sides. The campaigns get to call themselves whatever they like. How we've arrived at the conclusion that, in fact, this is a job killer ballot measure is based on statistics and numbers. What we know is that, according to the state's Employment Development Department, in fact, that 500,000 new jobs that have been created this year are green jobs. We know from a study that was done by an organization called Next 10 that the actual growth in the California economy right now is due to green jobs. It's due to clean tech. We know that if this ballot measure were successful, that it would chill investments in the clean technology industry. We know that companies are moving here because California is a positive place to do business, and because of the law, the exact law that this measure seeks to repeal. Companies are moving here because of that law. So we're actually basing our arguments in fact, and unfortunately the folks that are trying to pass this measure aren't basing their title on anything other than what they believe in.
So the state of California and numerous independent research organizations have apparently taken a look at how many clean jobs have been created in California, and they have taken a look at the future. And everyone, I think, is looking for new business opportunities, new jobs. And the forecasters all see growth for jobs in clean energy jobs.
Right.
Can you give me an example of a few clean jobs?
Sure. Well, there's been a lot of publicity lately about, say, Tesla Motors. There's a company that, in fact, just went public this week. This is a company that makes electric vehicles, clean vehicles. In fact, the reason that Tesla Motors is successful today is because of regulations that were put in place more than a decade ago that forced California to start creating clean vehicles, which led to the creation of the electric vehicle and led to the creation of hybrid electric vehicles. So Tesla is a perfect case study of a company that grew from California regulation to be a successful firm. Solar companies like Solaria and Solyndra, companies like Bright Source Energy, and I mean the list goes on and on. These are companies who day after day in the last few months have told us the reason we're here in California is because of these regulations that have made it promising for us to locate here and promising for us to put our businesses here.
Okay, so you demonstrated to me that a lot of examples of clean jobs.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have heard, I have read that many businesses, money around the United States, Hong Kong and others, they want to come here and open up businesses for clean, renewable energy jobs. And, you know, that all sounds so wonderful to me. So it's called Proposition 23.
Right, that's the number that's been assigned to it on the ballot.
And if you were to give it, just in terms of what it means to jobs, how would you rename that bill? Just jobs.
Well, I would say, well, because it's a no campaign, I guess I would say that it's a job killer initiative. Because we want people to vote no on this measure. So it would be, in my mind, it would chill investments, it would chill job creation, and it would be a job killer for California.
Okay, so Proposition 23 on the California ballot in November. 23 is a job killer bill.
Yes.
And I've done a little research on this myself. I thoroughly agree with you. Now, but apparently there's organization, people, investors in California that may believe that or have reasons for supporting this initiative. Where's the money coming from?
Well, that's a great question, Michael. So far, the money that's been raised by the proponents of the measure, it's somewhere between, I think, 5 and 8 million that they've raised. The number's fluctuating upwards, so close to 8 million. Most of it has come from out-of-state oil companies, companies that are based in Texas. The initial funding came from 2 out-of-state oil companies, Valero and Tesoro. And since their initial seed funding, tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars have continued to come in from oil companies. So the predominant funders of this ballot measure are the brothers and sisters of the same company that is polluting the Gulf Coast right now. And I mean, it's a long list. It's Tower Oil and World Oil and Jayco Oil, and it's all on the Secretary of State's website. You can go online, any citizen can go online and do the research to see who's funding this, but that's the predominant funding.
What would be a good place to start on the California government website to see the numbers and to see who's funding this?
So going to the Secretary of State website, yeah, you can search for this ballot measure on the Secretary of State's website, where the November 2010 elections, you have to follow a few links to get there, but it's not too hard to find.
So we're talking about a ballot that's going to be on the California ballot for the California voters that's coming up in November, and the bulk of the funding for this Kill Jobs initiative, number 3, 23, is coming not from the state of California, but from Texas. Texas oil money. That's amazing.
Yes, it is. It's pretty stunning.
I mean, logic says if some other state, a particular industry from another state, is funding something in another state,